The guys from Axelar and Midas launched this MXRP. It's more than 30 million. And the guys from Strove, they launched a lending protocol. So yield options for XRP. It's a very interesting market. It's still unexploited totally. XRP, I think it's $100+ billion. The market for yield on XRP, I think it's about 200 million just right now. So there's like 99% of people that has XRP that doesn't make yield on top of it. And now we have the tooling to do that.
The history of business would teach us that compound interest is the strongest force in the universe. And so whoever produces the best cash flow will eventually win. And I think the people getting smart about and deep about their risk-adjusted cash flow will flow into sort of north of minimum scale that, you know, to Lauren's point, only a few will survive. You know, the history of business would teach us that compound interest is the strongest force in the universe. And so, and the ones who are thoughtful and open-minded about, you know, about generating that cash flow will be the ones that will win. And that's been the case for the entire history of the space. Being closed-minded to new innovation has never been a good investment strategy in the history of crypto.
Wow, what a powerful introduction to today's CYPRX video breakdown. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another CYPRX video breakdown. Today, we're going to spend some time in the CYPRX Research Labs Discord, taking a look at some of the research that some of the community researchers have recently dropped, discussing and talking about DeFi. Primarily because I posted this to you guys here the other day on X, and it just goes hand in hand with that gentleman just mentioned. How the ones that generate cash flow, especially during market downturns, are going to be the ones that come out on top, that cash flow is king, and that it is one of the most powerful forces in the universe, or compound interest, thereas is one of the most powerful forces in the universe. And so that is what we're going to start today's video breakdown off with, because of the post that I wrote to you guys on X. And I really want you all, as my followers and people that watch us here at CYPRX, to think about this. I said, let's be honest. If you hold XRP, XLM, HBAR, Metal, XPR, Solana, ETH, Bitcoin, Soy, Aptos, XLR, Say, XDC, or any other asset that I missed, I just named a couple off the top of my head. Most people did not sell the local top on October 6th, 2025. And that's not a failure. It's a reality. Timing the exact top or bottom is something even pros struggle with, especially in a market driven by emotion, macro uncertainty, and unpredictable liquidity flows. That is why DeFi matters. Not as hype, not as a shortcut, but as a strategy, one that works even when price action does not. DeFi gives you a way to accumulate more assets during volatility instead of just watching your portfolio bleed and hoping that it recovers. While markets are in a pullback phase, those who are staking, lending, liquidity providing, or earning rewards are compounding. They're increasing their position size without needing perfect entries or exits. A diversified crypto portfolio isn't just holding different coins, it's holding different ways to grow them. If you are earning yield while everyone else is just waiting for the next pump, you are already ahead. Now, you're not only just ahead of retail investors, you're also ahead of the average institution.
And it's been a significant surprise to see institutions get excited about DeFi yield. It's not something that I, you know, in DeFi summer 2020, like it was a complete like unimaginable.
They didn't buy yam farm. It wasn't a thing.
Yeah, anybody farming yams never expected that like BlackRock would get excited about this. But again, like you know, remaining open-minded over time, and these institutions are smart, and ultimately they're chasing alpha, and they see that this can outperform other opportunities over time, and so.
As you all just heard, that gentleman sitting on stage from a panel discussion a couple of weeks ago mentioned that now institutions are even interested in these DeFi yielding strategies, which we're going to get into and show you guys in today's video breakdown. So I said this is not about beating the market in a single moment. It's about building steadily through every cycle. Volatility hurts passive holders that do nothing. Remember the mindset, hodl, long term, buckle down, have a big focus, zoom out, right? All of those people are now in the red and they're not accumulating or compounding or earning any yield. They're doing nothing. So, this is your reminder. Use the tools that exist. DeFi, compound interest, is one of the most powerful tools in the universe. The people who embrace DeFi now will look back and realize that they didn't just survive the volatility, they used it to build wealth. Get involved, learn the strategies, make your crypto work for you, not the other way around. And so I have these pictures here for you guys that I want you to just look at. So the total cryptocurrency market local top currently sits at about $4.24 trillion, which came in on the 6th of October, 2025. And now, as of time of recording this video breakdown, we are currently trading at about 3.15 trillion. So the market has shed over $1 trillion, and most people are still holding through this entire pullback, earning no yield whatsoever. Well, now imagine if this whole entire pullback over the past month that has taken place and any further pullback that happens moving forward, imagine if the entire time you were earning 1.5% to 8% yield on the vast majority of your digital assets in your portfolio. Well, when the market flips back bullish, the people that use DeFi to earn yield in compound positions will have bigger bags and a larger value in their portfolio than the people who did not. And that is 110% facts. With that being said, most people, especially in the XRP community, still have no idea that these DeFi opportunities are readily available and becoming ever more secure.
For instance, the winner apps essentially has been XRP yield. Obviously, XRP was an isolated asset without any staking, so it was essentially impossible to get yield out of it. The guys from Axelar and Midas launched this MXRP. It's more than 30 millions, and the guys from Strove, they launched a lending protocol. So yield options for XRP. It's a very interesting market. It's still unexploited totally. XRP, I think it's $100+ billion. The market for yield on XRP, I think it's about 200 million just right now. So there's like 99% of people that has XRP that doesn't make yield on top of it. And now we have the tooling to do that.
99% of people that hold XRP still are not earning yield on it. Now, that takes me over to a lending platform like MetalX, where you can start to generate yield in real time on your digital assets right now in the moment. Now, I'm not telling you guys to go out there and utilize this platform, but it's just something to consider. And one of the many lending platforms out there and yield generating platforms out there that exist that are trustworthy, that at the end of the day can start to get your digital assets working for you, earning you passive income while you wait for whatever exponential price appreciation that you personally believe in. Now, if you guys don't know how to utilize platforms like this or protocols in the DeFi ecosystem, like liquidity providing, lending, borrowing, staking, so on and so forth, head over to CYPRXtrading.com and tap in with us inside the Wealth 28 Club. In the Wealth 28 Club, you get access to our entire DeFi university, where there is literally hundreds of video breakdowns going over how to start to generate yield on your digital assets from our perspective, putting in the hard work and the elbow grease to expose our crypto portfolio to all of these protocols so that you guys can watch our trials and our tribulations. Again, you guys can head over to CYPRXtrading.com to check that out. Subscribe for a month, try it out, learn about DeFi. The people that are earning yield right now in this pullback are going to come out so much more on top than the people that are not. Now, taking a look at some ongoing DeFi fundamental developments where, if you're aware of them, you're again 10,000 steps ahead of the masses. Just in, Aave Labs just shipped the most important consumer finance app of 2025, and it's completely ignored by the mainstream media. So what has happened? Aave, the biggest DeFi lending platform, is launching a mobile app that allows you to deposit from your bank account and earn up to 9% yield. Yes, that is 18 times higher than your average savings account. That's higher than money market funds. And the best part, it's coming from a DeFi protocol with $70+ billion in deposits. And yes, it's launching directly on Apple's App Store. That is huge. Let that sink in. This is as crypto gets. But that's completely irrelevant for the end user. For the first time, anyone will be able to download an app, Deposit from a bank account, debit card, or stablecoins and earn up to 18x more real yield than in TradFi with $1 million in balance protection. Again, I repeat, with $1 million in balance protection. That means, again, that they are starting to have the ability to generate DeFi insurance. Huge announcement right there because of how many people out there are like, oh my gosh, I don't want to get involved in DeFi because there's no insurance. This is a huge improvement for the DeFi ecosystem. No browser wallets, zero crypto native friction, no Celsius BlockFi middlemen blowing up. Your grandmother won't know she's using Aave, but she'll just know her savings are earning 9% instead of 0.5%. This comes weeks after Aave acquired San Fran startup Stable Finance to build its consumer app. Now, if you come over here to the Aave LinkedIn profile, you can see that they announced this. Here it is right here, just 1 day ago, introducing the Aave app, a smarter way to save. And you can see right here, they're advertising 9% yield. Now, if you don't know how to utilize Aave, again, inside the private CYPRX Wealth 28 Club, we have a DeFi mentor who has shown profitability in some of the most volatile times in crypto history, utilizing a lending and borrowing swapping strategy on Aave. And he shows this to our private community members every single Wednesday on his DeFi Zoom calls inside the Wealth 28 Club for private Discord members. Now, just to show you guys some documents from some of the largest consulting firms and organizations in the game, some of the likes in which you already know of, here, let's just start with KPMG. So I said, reports like this from AIMA and KPMG make one thing clear, that the future of wealth management is being rebuilt on blockchain rails. The same way mutual funds and ETFs transformed finance decades ago, we are now witnessing the third structural shift driven by tokenized real-world assets, digital settlement currencies, and yield-bearing instruments that live entirely on-chain. What's wild is that the demand for this is not hypothetical anymore. Institutional DeFi participants and crypto native investors are all chasing the same regulated yield inside a blockchain environment. This is why DeFi education matters. Learn it now while it's still early. I again encourage you guys to take it upon yourselves to further your education. So taking a look at this tokenizing alternatives and AIMA report sponsored by KPMG, and looking at what it says, just reading some highlights, it says the asset management industry is undergoing a fundamental evolution. As the supporting ecosystem comprising tokenized real-world assets and digital settlement currencies and compliant wallet layers reaches critical mass, again, taking a look at what Aave just announced, this is happening in real time, the model is gaining traction across both retail and institutional segments. What is notable today is that the demand for such an enhancement is no longer hypothetical. The market for tokenized real-world assets, including tokenized credit, treasuries, and funds, has grown substantially. Meanwhile, the stablecoin market capitalization essential to on-chain settlement now exceeds $275 billion. This reflects a growing segment of investors, particularly stablecoin holders, DeFi participants, and crypto-native allocators who are increasingly looking for access to yield-bearing, regulated financial instruments without leaving the blockchain environment. So this just goes to show that some of the largest organizations in the game are talking directly about this. Heading over here to a recent Broadridge document titled The Next Gen Markets and the Rise and Reality of Tokenization, a roadmap to realizing the full potential of this pivotal shift, you come right down here to page 7, and what are they talking about? Well, it says right here, the value for investors. Beyond enhancing transparency, liquidity, and access to a new asset class, tokenized assets allow firms to leverage decentralized finance protocols to generate additional yield opportunities for their clients. So not only are these institutions going to be interested, not only is your average retail investor going to be interested in enhancing their yield, but these institutions inherently are going to need to give access to their clients for these yield generating products, and they will 100%, or they will risk falling behind. So it is imperative for you guys to start to learn about these things now, start to incorporate them into your investment strategy because it is the future. Anyone that ignores or denies it is doing themselves a disservice. Last but not least, there is another document over here from one of the largest organizations in the game that those of you all most likely know. I like showing familiar organizations like this and documents that stem from them because most people could dig into their wallet or their purse right now and pull out a Visa or MasterCard. Well, right here in a document that was recently dropped in collaboration with Elium, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, titled Stablecoins Beyond Payments and the On-Chain Lending Opportunity, How Banks Can Access Emerging Credit Markets with Blockchain Infrastructure, there's been this kind of like disintermediation or this confusion on whether or not we are going to be able to generate double-digit yields in the future on our digital assets or just in general. Well, I'm here to show you guys that that future is 110% coming, and it is being solidified and built out right now in real time. Scrolling right down here to the meaty portion of this document, you can see it goes on to talk about this platform called Credit Coupe. And Credit Coupe is a structured finance protocol that enables borrowing and lending against on-chain cash flows. Credit Coupe smart contracts allow lenders to automatically receive a split of revenue from a borrower's revenue generating smart contracts. This provides recourse in the event of a default by automatically redirecting 100% of the cash flows from the revenue contracts. Then down here, it goes on to mention how Credit Coupe is giving the ability, it says right here, for lenders, Credit Coupe offers higher yields at 12 to 15% APY with full on-chain transparency into loan performance and trustless recourse for programmatic control of revenue-generating smart contracts. Credit Coupe also natively integrates with on-ramps, allowing institutions to more easily start lending and access on-chain yields via wire transfers. And this is directly in collaboration with the document from Visa. And what are they talking about? 12 to 15% yield enhancements. Huge confirmation today in this video breakdown that now is the time not to ignore DeFi, to start to incorporate it into your educational process. And if you're not already, possibly consider incorporating it into your investment plan. Again, not financial advice. Always make sure that you guys are going out there and doing your own personal research, understanding the risks involved in DeFi and how to mitigate those risks. Again, you guys can always head over to CYPRXtrading.com and you can learn how we are mitigating those risks and exposing our crypto portfolios to the digital asset DeFi ecosystem in real time through the Wealth 28 Club. With that being said, do me a favor, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe to the platform, and I will see you guys in the next video breakdown.